The stock market is down bad right now. The NASDAQ, which is primarily tech stocks, is down 10%, which means it is officially in correction territory. Tesla was down 15% by itself. Things are so bad that I am here yet again recording on a Monday, which ain't normal either, okay? But here's the thing. There is actually some good in this situation, and it is not for the reason that you think. Let's go ahead and break it down. Tariffs. That is the primary thing. Tariffs. Why is that such a good thing? Why does it bring a smile to my face? Tariffs are the reason that the stock market is trash right now. I know and understand, looking at your 401k, looking at your investing app, seeing all that red is stressful. I get it. That doesn't necessarily bring me joy in and of itself, and just looking at a chart that just slants down, it ain't fun. However, the difference between this market today or this week or whatever time that you're watching this video is different than what we saw in 2022 when the stock market was down almost 20%, or we saw during the first part of 2020 or any other point. Is this dip, whatever it is you want to call it, has an answer. That is the key. That is what brings me joy more than anything else. Now, whether we're going to use that answer and when we're going to use that answer is different. But here's what I mean. This can go away. This is something that we caused by just saying we want to use tariffs. We mean the country, because it wasn't me, right? But by saying we want to impose tariffs, we caused this. That's when the stock market started to fall. Okay, and then saying, hey, we want to pause it, market went up, and then we're going to do tariffs again. That's when this whole thing started. We can just say, hey, forget the tariffs, we'll just go back to normal. The stock market will go back to what it was. This can all, we have an answer here, okay? It can all go away. There is an answer, which tells me this is a buying opportunity. The question is, when will the market recover, and when are they going to just unplug the tariffs altogether? That we don't know. But honestly, that is an answer we never knew. We didn't know when the stock market was going to recover after COVID, but it did. We didn't know when the stock market was going to recover after 2022, but it did. We didn't know when the stock market was going to recover after 2008 or the dot-com bust, but it did. And that is the key here. The difference here is we have a direct answer that somebody could just tweet out and say, hey, we're not going to do tariffs, and almost instantly we know that the stock market is likely, very likely going to recover, because we know that the CEOs of Walmart and every other major company has said this is the issue, we don't know what to do, and or these companies are going to find a way to adjust. It's just going to take time for them to do this. The answers are right in front of us. The question is, are you going to be able enough or be able to tune out the noise enough to continue to invest through that? That is going to be the key. The other thing is the buying opportunity. You have to be able to see that. You have to, because 5 years ago this week to be exact, was the COVID crash. It was really the bottom of the COVID crash, because I'll pull up a chart if I got to, right? I'm doing this from memory, but 5 years ago this week, we saw the bottom of that crash, and I think the market fell between 20 to 30%. We recovered, and the market was up close to 18% in 2020. We are only down 4. We are only down 4, and people are panicking and saying, pull out of your 401k, and I sold everything, from a 4% loss in the overall stock market. Now, tech stocks are down more, okay? I think Tesla's down 50. Ugh. That's Elon's fault, okay? But the overall stock market is only down 4. In 2020, the overall stock market was down 25 to 30 in March, and it still recovered in 2020. This time we have literally an answer to this problem. We can definitely recover. If we can recover from that, we can recover from this with a tweet. This cannot be the panic. We can't see the same panic. This don't make sense, right? Your answer as an investor is to keep investing or hold. It's got to be. Like we got to relax. We got to. I understand there's a whole bunch of other stuff that you can panic about. The market ain't one of them, especially at a 4% dip. This is a dip, right? This ain't it. And talking about practice what we preach, not only did we talk about this in July, not only did we talk about this in December, we have been talking about getting cash ready in case this were to happen, and talking about what tariffs are and how they can impact the stock market. We've been talking, right? But also go back to 2020. I've been holding stocks like O'Reilly Automotive since 2020 for more than 1,600 days. The screenshot is here. I'll show you the link to public. It shows you all the investments I have. We've got people and subscribers who follow me from the app to here. Yeah, I'm still on there. I don't post as much, but I still invest, still put money there. I've been holding O'Reilly Automotive as well as other stocks ever since then. You can still hold and buy investments in this stock. The stock market from March to now, 5 years ago, is up 100%. You could have just held from March, which was at that time the worst of the worst. That's when the NBA shut down. Everything shut down in March of 2020. We thought the world was over in March of 2020, and that was the bottom. We didn't know how far the stock market was going to drop in March of 2020. We don't know how far the stock market is going to drop right now, honestly. I just know we got an answer to this, right? So at that point, the market recovered after that, as you saw, right? We all saw. And I continue to hold stocks like O'Reilly Automotive and others. And this is your opportunity. Hopefully it didn't fall that far, but this is your chance. This is your chance. Going for buying opportunities, if you thought something like Bitcoin was too expensive when it hit $100,000, it's around 20 right now, the time I'm doing this. This is your chance. It is at a 20% discount right now. Could it continue to fall? Yes, it can. It absolutely can. However, it's 20% cheaper today than what it was back in December when it hit that milestone, which is something we talked about. Everybody says buy low, sell high. Today is that low point. So act accordingly. This is that chance. And I feel like every time that this happens, like everybody needs this pep talk on what to do and how to do it. This is that chance. Okay, so this is absolutely a buying opportunity. We absolutely do have an answer to end this entire thing, which means that buying opportunity is limited. Okay, it can be limited. We don't absolutely know it's going to be limited, but it can be quite limited, unlike some of these other things. We didn't know how long COVID was going to last. I didn't know it was going to last as long as it did. 2022, that was a very long and terrible year for the market. Didn't know how long that was going to last. This one feels like, again, with a tweet or two, we've seen it be paused. It could be paused by the time you watch this video. We don't know, right? And also, we talked about Bitcoin. This could be an opportunity. How do you attack some of these? How do you invest in some of these? I'll give you some resources at the end for videos. However, I would not, take your entire bag of money, if that's what you do have, but do consider dollar cost averaging, which I have discussed before, which means putting in a consistent amount into the investment that you believe in, including index funds, on a regular schedule. We've talked about that many, many times before. The reason why you want to do this is because you don't know how long this is going to last, and you want to be also quite consistent, especially for something like Bitcoin, which is what I'm going to do. I might increase. So, for example, if I'm putting in, let's say, $100 a week, I might do like 125 because it's a lot cheaper than what it was. And then if it goes back up to 100, maybe I'll just go back to what I was doing. But I'm buying a bit more. I'm just staying on that consistent schedule. That means if that stock drops, then I'm buying more than what I was doing. And if it starts, going higher, then I'm still buying, but not as many shares as what I was before. But that's going to keep you on that consistent schedule, so you are, always be buying, right? And consistently build your wealth in times like this. But it's not a time to get scared. It's not a time to pull back. It's not a time to panic. And that's the difference between people who sold in 2020 and didn't get that 100% gain from 2020 to now. If you missed out on just 10 of the best days at that point in time, you cut your performance in half, which means you only made 50%. That ain't good, right? So you have to stay invested, right? You should stay invested and make sure you are in the right spots. But you can't do that if you're panicking. You can't do that if you're just reacting to what's going on, especially if it is something as easy as tariffs. I don't get to predict when the stock market is going to fall. This is the easiest, probably one of the easiest predictions, if you want to call it a prediction, that I've ever made. I mean, and I'm not a super genius. Like, I've been doing this for a while in school and all kind of stuff, but like, my first recession, or not recession, my first, and this is not a recession, my first tariff video was back in July. And then we did another one. And then we did another one. Like, we kept, like, hey, tariffs are bad. Here's what can happen. Here's how it can hurt the stock market. Like, this was to a T. We saw, like, this was not hard to see. It wasn't hard to prepare for. We did a whole workshop. Like, we did a whole workshop about what stocks could do well, why you should save, why you should have cash on the side, and what things you should buy, and why you should have cash ready in January for things that can happen. And here it is. Like, this was easy. This is, be ready. So you, like, come on now. So, like, this is your opportunity. That opportunity is now. I don't know how long it is going to last. Lastly, words putting together. Lastly, though, this is what you need to do. This is your opportunity to see who's real and who's not. In terms of your timeline, if you see people who are saying, pull everything out of your 401k, sell, move to cash, tune them out, don't listen. Okay, because again, this has an answer key to it, but more importantly, there's probably people trying to sell you on certain insurance policies. Not only do those things tend to be a lot more expensive, those are things you can't reverse. And what you definitely don't want to do is sell everything out of your 401k, take it out, put it into something else, and then you turn around a week, 2 weeks, a month later, and then you realize, oh, there was some deal made, there were no tariffs, and then stock market goes back up, everything's fine. You can't get out of the insurance policy and then go back to your 401k. Like, that is very difficult. Or what if, right, this ends up being a 2020, the market bounces back up, and then you can't go back and reverse. Like, that's a very big risk that you don't want to take. The better option is to make sure you're properly allocated. That means having the right mix of stocks and bonds, which we talked about in last week's video, and just stay consistent at continuously buying and doing what you're supposed to do and tune out the noise. You definitely don't want to have people in your circle trying to gas up the fear and trying to get you to, sell or buy something crazy when that's not a part of your process. We're only down at this point, we're only down 4%. We have recovered from worse. 2022 was way worse. Parts of 2020 were way worse, and we have recovered from both. If you want to know other investments that you should consider and how to protect your portfolio in moments like this, you want to check out this video right here.